Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of USF College Week, your source for news, sports, and the latest on what's happening around the USF community. I'm Erin Heinert.
I'm Matt Johnson. Today on College Week, we'll tell you about some improvements being made to the USF campus, talk about a visit to USF from an award-winning author, and update you on the GPAC champion Cougar baseball team. But first, here's Erin with our top story.
One of the biggest fears that a college student can have is being evicted from their home. This became a reality for 3 USF students over this past week. The house of USF art major Ryan Gage was reported to the police as having more than 3 unrelated adults living in it at one time, which goes against the city ordinance that was established in the 1950s. Although the students first thought that they would have to move out by the 1st of May, the city has given them until the end of the semester to relocate. Gage will be here later in the show to discuss this issue in this week's edition of Crosstalk.
Now that spring has finally shown itself to Sioux Falls, USF will once again undergo its annual flower facelift. College Week's Abby Satter shows us the plans for the upcoming Campus Beautification Day.
When the winter snow finally melts away and the sun starts shining, the USF campus can seem like it needs a little sprucing up. Enter Campus Beautification Day, an annual event taking place May 9th, in which students and the USF buildings and ground crew plant flowers and trees all around the campus. Grounds crew worker Jeff Johnson says the event has been a long-standing tradition at USF, and he's aiming to get everyone involved in the day this year.
I know they started well before me, and when it was actually first implemented, they had the students involved in the program. And then through the years, about when I got there, I know it was mainly faculty and staff and the buildings and maintenance that did that. And in the last couple of years, I've tried to get the students back involved in the campus beautification because it is their campus. So.
Johnson says attendance last year was a little low, but the small turnout could be attributed to many factors.
The last couple of years, the turnout really hasn't been as good as I wanted, but again, it really was dependent upon the weather too, and on my fault is that I don't think that we got the word out early enough, and it's so close to finals too. That's really what's hard for students to be able to break away to come out and help for a little bit when they want to be studying for finals or other things.
This year, the group will be planting a wide variety of flowers such as purple and white petunias, yellow marigolds, and geraniums. The centerpiece will be the bed along the Jeske Fine Arts Center, and flowers will also be planted in the Jordan Hall beds, the Prairie Arch, and the beds next to the Salisbury Science Center. Johnson says the planting of the flowers brings a positive and refreshing aesthetic to the campus.
My opinion is when you've got, especially for the new students that come on campus over the summer, their first impression of the campus is what they're going to see when they drive up. And I think if you've got good color and good variety and the campus is clean and groomed, then they're going to have a better impression of the place.
Johnson won't estimate on attendance, but he's thinking big.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to have more students than I have flowers. I mean, that would just make it that much more enjoyable.
For USF College Week, I'm Abby Satter.
Anyone interested in participating in Campus Beautification Day is encouraged to be at the Jeske Fine Arts Flower Bed at 1 p.m. this coming Wednesday.
Coming up after the break, College Week's Jake Iverson takes us to Omaha, Nebraska for a little bear appreciation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. On Tuesday, May 1st, the University of Sioux Falls was proud to once again host best-selling author and teacher Bryan Manning. The Frederickson Forum and local Christian leaders sponsored the renowned speaker, who is best known for his books The Ragamuffin Gospel and Abba's Child. Here at USF, Manning spoke at the campus's chapel on Tuesday morning and at Westminster Presbyterian Church Tuesday evening. He also appeared throughout the rest of the week at Augustana College, First Lutheran Church, North American Baptist Seminary, and Central Baptist Church.
The city of Sioux Falls has begun to earn a reputation of a city that loves its fine arts, with the theater being no exception. With that in mind, College Week's Taylor Kalmus takes us inside a new dinner theater production that stars several USF students.
As summer approaches, Sioux Falls is hopping with all sorts of things for USF students to do. One such activity is an interactive dinner theater at the Oaks Hotel and Convention Center. Busted Gut Productions cast and crew, who range in age from 18 to 49, have been preparing for the show for over a month. Director of the show, Lisa Anderson, explains the idea of interactive theater.
Interactive theater is basically when the audience comes to see a show, they actually become part of the show. It's a different twist on your basic theater. The guests will arrive. They will be arriving to an 80s prom, at which time they will actually become part of the prom. They will be becoming the students. They will be dancing. There will be a total intermix.
Producer of the show, Mike Guggenheisen, shares an inside view of the season's show.
The play this year is 80s Prom at Whodunit High. It's a murder mystery set in 1989 at a high school prom. It's interactive. It's a dinner theater, so the audience members, are served a meal during the show. Interactive theater doesn't have a stage per se, so you may have some of the cast members sitting at the table with you eating, coming up and visiting you at the table. It's quite different from stage theater.
USF's own James Myers, who is a part of the production, says he enjoys it because of all the possibilities of every show.
The majority of the lines are scripted, but there's so much of the added things, the interaction with the people that are coming to the performance that makes every show unique and every show a little different. During the show, we get the audience involved in all facets of the show. We crown a prom king and queen. We give out awards. You're most likely to succeed in awards like that. Every show is going to be a little different. It just depends on the patron and how things work out.
The show opened last Friday with over 120 tickets sold. It shows again on the 5th, 6th, 11th, and 12th at 7 o'clock. For tickets to the show, call 940-4FUN. For USF's College Week, I'm Taylor Kalmus.
Thank you, Taylor. Under the directorship of Dave Hoogcleaver, the USF Choir is getting ready for their final concert of the year, a celebration of all things motherly. College Week's Nick Poppins has more.
As many students and faculty are winding down for the year, the USF Music Department is still in full swing preparing for their upcoming Mother's Day concert. Concert Chorale Director Dave Hoogcleaver is excited to be wrapping up the school year with a concert that has never been done before.
The choral program will hold their final concert of the year on Mother's Day. That's May 13th at 4 o'clock, First Presbyterian Church, just a couple of blocks away from campus here.
The singing camerata and the concert chorale, as well as the women's choir, will all be featured. We weren't sure as a camerata if we wanted to do anything in addition to the open mic night that we had done earlier in April. So we took a vote and we decided to sing a couple songs at the Mother's Day concert, so we're excited about that.
Along with end-of-the-year concerts and events comes having to say goodbye to the seniors who have been great examples for the upcoming underclassmen.
I've been here in the program since I came here, which was 5 years ago. Well, 4 years and 8 months, and I'm graduating this May. I've been in the chorale and the camerata for all these years, and they're wonderful groups to worship in. And I know I won't get the opportunity to be in this capacity ever again, probably. But just like graduating, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. This will probably be the hardest to leave, just because I won't get this kind of opportunity again.
And with all this positive activity pouring out of the music department, it is hard to believe that Hoogcleaver, commonly called DK by students, is only in his first year here at the university.
I feel like the new leadership has been a very positive change. We've been stretched as a choir, doing new genres that we had never done before, and also more contemporary things than what we have done in the past. So I think it's been a good change, and I think people have been enjoying it as well.
For USF College Week, I'm Nick Poppins.
This week, as everyone knows, is National Bear Awareness Week here in America. And what better way to show our appreciation for our furry friends than to send College Week insider Jake Iverson to the Omaha Zoo.
As the semester is about to conclude with a week of finals, don't let the stress become too overbearing. USF shares its finals week with the International Association for Bear Research and Management's Bear Awareness Week. This event is held to educate the public about the role that bears play in nature, as well as the importance of respecting biological diversity. USF's regional bear enthusiast, Michael Harris, tells us his belief in the significance of bear awareness.
All right, bear awareness, people. What it is the awareness that bears are disappearing from the face of this planet. These majestic beasts, creatures of the wild in the forests, are disappearing due to poaching and just people who want bearskin rugs. Seriously, come on. One day you're gonna come to the zoo and you'll see them. You'll see them here. But they're not really bears. They're robots. Do you want your kids looking at robots that look like bears or bears dressed like bears? All right.
Many Sioux Falls locals find it hard to believe that the grizzly was once common on the Great Plains of North America. In 1975, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service listed the grizzly bear as a threatened species in the lower 48 states. The threat of extinction has many zoogoers worried about the fate of these teddies.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, he's not there. I mean, probably someone jumped down there and poached him. I like bears, you know. They look really cuddly, you know. But underneath that cuddliness, there's, you know, great strength, I believe. So, I mean, with that, you know, I just think they're the coolest animals.
Bear Awareness Week runs May 13th through the 19th, so get out there, find a bear, and give him a hug. For College Week, I'm Jake Iverson.
Thanks, Jake. By the way, no bears were harmed while covering that story. Coming up next on Crosstalk, College Week's Rob Mikowitz sits down with USF art major Ryan Gage to discuss his recent controversy with the Sioux Falls zoning laws. Don't go away.
Hi, welcome to Crosstalk. I'm Rob Mikowitz. Today we're sitting down with USF student Ryan Gage to talk about his current living situation and how a city ordinance might be affecting one of his 4 roommates to move out. How long have you lived at this residence, Ryan?
I've lived there since February of 2006.
Were you in violation of this ordinance the entire time?
Apparently we were.
Apparently you were,
Apparently.
Huh? In the Argus Leader, it said someone reported you for being in violation of this ordinance. Do you have any clue who it might be?
You know, there's a guy that lives across the way. We call him Journey, because he loves 80s hair metal. And we believe that he was the one that may have reported us, because he doesn't like when we park behind his driveway. He gets a little offended, so I think that we crossed the line finally, a year later.
And did you have any problems with your neighbors or authorities?
No, our neighbors are all really, really rad, except for Journey.
The city of Sioux Falls asked you to be cooperative and in the
with our community spirit. Yes,
yeah, your community spirit, and to be out of someone to be out of the house by May 1st. Has that happened?
No, we have not moved out, because I went and spoke to the city council on Monday, the day that the article ran, and I spoke in front of the city council and told them our situation, and got Kermit Stagers, a professor here, and Dee Knudsen to take on that bill to make an amendment for it to raise the number to 4 people per household. So,
do you think that's fair for them to do that for you?
I think it's fair. The law dates back to the 1950s, and so really it seems like a dead law, since most homes are made with 4 bedrooms. It doesn't really seem fair to limit a property owner to what they want to use the land for.
Were you aware of the ordinance before you moved into the house? No. What does your landlord think of you? Did you have any problems with your landlord?
Our landlord thinks we're really rad. I mean, we've never given him any problems. We keep his house really nice, so he's very much enjoyed us being there.
Now, are all the students that live in this house, are they all USF students?
I'm actually the only USF student. One goes to USD, and the other's starting at USDSU, and the fourth is a money seller at Easy Money.
You know, the law is the law. What makes the circumstances different for you than someone else that would have the same problem?
You know, I think it has to deal with us being college kids. You know, we can only work part-time because we're going to school full-time. So it's like we're all crunched for money. So I think the situation hurts us a little bit more to have only a week and a half to find somewhere else to live that's still as cheap as what we have. So I think it's kind of difficult to deal with that.
Do you know what's going to happen in the future? Do you have any idea?
So Kermit Sagers and Dee Knutson are working on a amendment to the law to hopefully raise the number to 4.
Okay.
I assume that the city council needs to vote on it to actually make it an amendment, but I'm pretty confident. Bob Litz gave me a little bit of trouble, but I think he'll be all right.
How did the Argus Leader end up getting a hold of the story?
When we got the letter on April 18th, I called up Kermit because I've had him for a couple classes. You know, I was like, "What's the deal? What is this?" You know, so he got a hold of I think his name is Jonathan Ellis at the Argus Leader, and then told us what we should do, and it's been pretty successful so far.
What do you think of the poll? How 88% of the people were in favor for you?
It was surprising. I mean, I think it's more of a common sense thing. People kind of understand. This is the way I look at it. Is like, you know, we're all moved out. Our parents are starting their lives over again. You know, it's like they don't want us to come back. You know, and I think a lot of the people voting probably are thinking in that sort of mindset.
Well, that's good for you, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we have the Styles Report.
Now for sports. For the first time in the program's history, the University of Sioux Falls baseball team is conference champions. The Cougars eked out the GPAC title by winning 7 games in a row to close out the regular season, clinching the crown on the last game of the year. As conference champions, USF claimed an automatic berth in the NAIA Region 3 tournament to be held May 9th through the 12th in Sioux City, Iowa.
In other sports news, the 2006 National Championship winning USF Cougar football team finished their spring ball practices yesterday. High on the list of things to do for the Cougars this spring is to replace a large number of starters lost to graduation and to integrate new transfers into the program. College Week's Cameron Horton spoke with senior offensive guard Brady Schwabach about the team's spring ball progress this year.
Well, the outlook of this team is we're going to do everything we can to defend our title. Got a bunch of young kids, but so we practice in spring ball, get better, move on into fall ball, and kick some butt for next year.
The Cougar football team opens its national title defense at the new Sanford Health and Sports Complex on September 1st against Dana College.
In this, the final installment of the Styles Report ever, our friend and colleague shows us just how powerful the human mind can actually be. Never afraid to push the limits of Western science, here's College Week's Matt Stiles.
The mind is a wonderful thing, but sometimes it can be freaky. Sometimes your mind can be in 2 places at once. For instance, my mind will be in the elevator, and then it will be elsewhere.
Okay, where is he? Is he in here? Where? He's not in here. Where is he? Where'd he go? What the? Where? Mind freak.
Another attribute of the mind is that it can endure incredible amounts of pain. Watch.
Mind freak.
mind can also see other people's minds. Let's go find somebody right now and see what their mind has to say. Here comes somebody right now. Let's test this out. Hi there, sir.
Oh, hello.
You play Uno much?
All the time, every Friday night.
Great, me too. Let's try a trick. I'm gonna cut these and show you a card. Randomly cut them. After I show you it, I will guess what card it is. Let's see. This is the card here. I'm guessing yellow 8. Mind freak! Uno. The mind has incredible powers. It can take solid objects and turn them into rubber. Mind freak! Sometimes the mind likes to spend money, and sometimes that money can disappear. And other times, you're on a budget. Mind freak!
Well, that wraps up our last edition of College Week for the year. For Aaron Heinert, I'm Matt Johnson.
We'll leave you now with an outdoorsy video essay from College Week's David Christofferson. Thanks for watching. You stay classy, Sioux Falls.